Welcome to Facilitator Training for the Fall 2025 All Professions Day activity, also referred to as APD. We're so glad you will join us, and we know this will be the best APD ever. Today we'll spend a few minutes orienting Facilitator to the updated APD design and covering what you can expect on September 5th. This year, the Facilitator's Guide has a new look. You'll find all the same information, but with an updated design. It will be attached to your session calendar reminder, and a copy is posted online on the IP webpage for APD. This year, students will also get a resource guide with all of the resources consolidated in one booklet. Facilitators will not have to navigate to additional screens or download additional documents. The Student Resource Guide is also posted on the IP website for APD. For those of you who are new to APD, we'll start with a brief overview. All Professions Day, or APD, is the all-campus introduction to interprofessional education. Most academic health centers have similar programming all across the United States. APD focuses on inviting early career learners to gain awareness level knowledge about the National Interprofessional Education Collaborative's core competencies for interprofessional collaborative practice, also referred to as the IPEC core competencies. All health science programs across the United States follow these same core competencies. At OU, we split the 4 competencies into 2 sessions. APD 1 focuses on the first 2 competencies, which are communication and roles and responsibilities. APD 1 is always the Friday of Labor Day week. Then APD 2 will focus on the remaining 2 IPEC competencies of teamwork and values and ethics. APD 2 is always the last Friday in February. And because we do welcome over 1,400 learners from over 20 degree programs at every campus location, including online learners and out-of-state students, we host the event on Zoom. As we get started with reviewing APD 1 activities, here are a few updates for our returning facilitators. Based on feedback from thousands of students and scores of faculty, we have made updates to the APD activities. Noteworthy changes based on that feedback include 1. In response to a request for team formation guidance, we have added the team charter process back into APD. This will allow our teams an easy way to get comfortable with the experience while also paying attention to the important steps of forming, storming, and norming as a group. 2, additional time was requested on roles and responsibilities. So we've increased the time we spend at the beginning and changed the name of the activity from speed networking to professional elevator speech. 3, we have also added a very short review on team communication skills. And last, we updated the case of Irene Egan and the activity number 3 worksheet. We're excited to bring these changes to the campus, and we look forward to your feedback. Let's quickly review our agenda for APD 1. In your facilitator guide, you'll have a full copy of the agenda. Briefly, the way the 2-hour experience will work is as follows. All participants will join their respective Zoom call. There will be 4 different simultaneous Zoom hosts welcoming over 700 attendees at each of the morning and afternoon sessions. All Zoom calls in each session will be identical in programming. A Zoom host will welcome everyone and play a video with a short didactic overview. Then you will be placed in breakout rooms. As the facilitator, you will welcome a group of interprofessional learners. We try to make sure that we have diverse representation of all professions in each breakout room. However, please remember that some programs admit over 400 students a year, while others may only admit 50. So you may have more students from one program than another. And also, your group may be missing a profession. Some programs have competing schedules and may only be able to assign their students to the morning or perhaps to the afternoon session. We'll do our best to make sure you have a great group. In the breakout rooms, you'll have 3 activities. The first is a rapid team formation activity. The second will be based on roles and responsibilities, and the last will focus on team communication by the way of a case study. You will stay in your breakout session for all 3 activities. At the end, the Zoom host will bring you back to the main room where everyone will complete the evaluation and adjourn. In your facilitator's guide, you will be able to follow along on the didactic video. Students will also have this content in their handouts. Following the short didactic video, you will automatically be placed in your breakout rooms. Let's review the first 2 activities. We'll briefly give you a sneak peek at the new didactic slides and their instruction slides for the new activities. Students will be introduced to Tuckman's model for team development. The video will provide a verbal overview, and information will also be in the student packets. An important takeaway we will stress at this APD is that teams will often jump into the performing stage of team development without stopping to first complete those pivotal steps of forming, storming, and norming. In a rapid team formation, we have to find ways to do this quickly by confirming who is on the team, confirming team goals, and making sure everyone knows their task, and using those strong communication skills to do so. Students have asked for additional information on communication skills. We've included a few national best practices. You can share others with your breakout groups. The first is a Team Steps resource referred to as closed loop communication. The next we will introduce is the check back method. We'll wrap that up with a quick set of effective communication tips. As you get started, there are facilitator tip sheets for each activity in your facilitator's guide. The worksheets for each activity are also in the guide and in the student handouts. You can share screen with the worksheet, or you can even ask a student to be the note taker and ask them to share screen and take notes for their team. In activity number 1, we'll practice rapid team formation by completing a team charter. While a full team charter is complex and can take quite some time to complete, at APD, we will just complete 2 items in our breakout rooms. This activity will be 15 minutes. First, we'll ask that you lead your students in deciding their team goals. This is the standard teamwork approach that we've all done since kindergarten. Examples of possible goals are included in the facilitator's guide. Then we'll ask you to lead them in thinking about their operating agreements for communication. This should focus on professional skills, but you might even incorporate the Vegas rule, such as what we say here stays here for psychological safety in the group. Some teams may need more coaching than others, while some may actually run out of time to finish. There's no wrong answers, and there's no grading on this assignment. You do not have to share the team charter with anyone else. The next activity is a deeper dive into introductions and a chance to apply use of roles, responsibilities, knowledge to interprofessional communication. We've recrafted our speed networking to have a tangible takeaway for our students after APD. The basic premise is the same as in past years, though. We'll task students with introducing themselves, their profession, and their roles and responsibilities in that profession. However, in 2025, we'll change this a bit to charge them to think about how this conversation plays out in brief conversations with new colleagues across campus. Have them think about how they can introduce themselves to clinicians in hospital elevators or to other students at the Chick-fil-A, or even in writing in a discussion post prompt in online courses. This activity will be 30 minutes. Give your students a few minutes to write their own speech at the beginning. The roles cheat sheet is still included in their packets as in previous years. And reminder, some students are brand new and still figuring out even where to park on campus, let alone their scope of practice. So you can nudge them to use AI resources, Google, or whatever needed to craft their own quick introductions. We recommend when you call time for their individual work that you have everyone add their speech in the Zoom chat. Keep time as everyone does their speech and remind them to keep it to a minute. If a student takes longer than needed, you can politely cut them off and offer to go back to them at the end if there's time. If your team finishes early, there are sample debrief questions on the worksheet. We will also provide students with a sample elevator speech. You can also give your own 1 minute or less example speech for them. The morning session will have until 11 o'clock to complete the first two activities. The afternoon session will have until 1:30. Activity 3 is our team communication activity. It will begin promptly at 11 o'clock in the morning and 1:30 in the afternoon. New this year, based on feedback from students and faculty, we will have a new Irene video. Very excited. We've recorded this new video in our clinic, and we've done it in an interview style rather than the old monologue approach that we've had before. We also updated the script to mimic that interview, and we heard feedback also that the worksheet questions needed to be broader and focused on roles and communication. As such, we updated the case study as a mock team huddle. This will be similar to what students will see in our IP simulations. As the facilitator, you can use the questions in your facilitator's guide to help your breakout room get started on their discussion. You can add additional prompts or let the team add questions and discussion items. There are no limits. And again, there are no wrong answers. No huddle answers will be graded or reported out to a larger group. The goal is for all students in the group to practice team communication. Both facilitators and students will have the huddle worksheet and debrief questions in their packets. Teams should have about 30 minutes total for huddle discussion and debrief. If you have teams that are less engaged, you can utilize your best teaching techniques, such as round robin, where everyone has to contribute. Or if necessary, you can say, I've noticed we haven't had a chance to hear from everyone yet. I'm going to call on this student next, and after that, I'll call on this other student. You can also ask participants to use the Zoom chat, or you could even use the Zoom whiteboard option to engage those students who are not yet comfortable with Zoom-based discussion teams. You have a number of methods to make sure everyone is heard and has an opportunity to participate. We know you'll do great. And as our last reminder, some students are brand new to their degree program and have no prior experience with the health sciences. And some students will not be seeking employment in patient-facing roles. They may be going into research or public service. By keeping discussions generic, you'll be able to best keep everyone engaged. Time will be called at 11:45 for the morning session and 2:15 for the afternoon session. The Zoom host will return you to the main room. Everyone will be asked to complete the JTOG evaluation. JTOG is an acronym for Jefferson Team Observation Guide. This is our university's research-based evaluation tool that is completed after all IPE activities. We ask that you complete the evaluation along with your student team. The Zoom host will then give you a few parting announcements and everyone will adjourn. Morning session facilitators that are staying for the afternoon will have a short break and will then have to log into a new Zoom link for their afternoon session. And then that will be a wrap. I'd like to thank you for agreeing to facilitate our interprofessional learners. IP truly cannot be successful without the dedication of our facilitators across campus. Please let us know if you have any questions or feedback, and we will see you on September 5th.